Atomic Habits by James Clear. Have you ever tried to change a habit only to give up after a few days? Maybe you wanted to wake up earlier, eat healthier, exercise regularly, or stop wasting time on your phone. You started strong, full of motivation, and then slowly, everything fell apart. If that sounds familiar, you're not weak. You're human. And today we're going to talk about why habits are so hard to change, and more importantly, how you can finally make them stick. This is the full audiobook-style breakdown of Atomic Habits by James Clear, one of the most powerful and practical books ever written about personal growth, self-improvement, and behavior change. This isn't about motivation, this isn't about discipline, and it's definitely not about overnight success. It's about small actions, tiny changes, and how those small habits, repeated consistently, can completely transform your life. Let's start with a simple idea. Imagine improving just 1% every day. 1% doesn't feel like much. You probably wouldn't even notice it. But if you improved by just 1% every day for an entire year, you wouldn't be 3 times better. You'd be almost 37 times better. That's the power of compound growth. And that is the core idea behind Atomic Habits. James Clear explains that habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just like money grows with interest over time, your habits grow into massive results when repeated consistently. The problem is that most people focus on big goals instead of small systems. They say things like, I want to lose 10 kilos. I want to get rich. I want to read more books. I want to be successful. Goals sound great, but goals don't tell you what to do today. Systems do. A goal is the outcome you want. A system is the process that gets you there. And here's one of the most important lines from the book. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. If you want better results, you don't need bigger goals, you need better habits. Now here's where Atomic Habits becomes truly powerful. James Clear explains that real change doesn't start with outcomes. It doesn't even start with habits. It starts with identity. Most people try to change what they do, but lasting change comes from changing who you believe you are. For example, instead of saying, I want to read more, you say, I am a reader. Instead of saying, I want to work out, you say, I am someone who takes care of their body. Instead of saying, I want to be productive, you say, I am a disciplined person. Every habit you perform is a vote for the type of person you believe you are. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to cast enough votes. Over time, your identity follows your actions. To understand habits better, James Clear breaks them down into a simple 4-step loop. Cue, craving, response, reward. First, there is a cue, something that triggers the habit. Then comes the craving, the desire for a change. Next is the response, the action you take. And finally, the reward, the benefit you get from the habit. This loop is happening in your brain all the time, often without you realizing it. For example, you wake up and see your phone. That's the cue. You feel curious or bored. That's the craving. You pick up your phone and start scrolling. That's the response. And the dopamine hit you get is the reward. Once a habit is formed, your brain wants to repeat it. So instead of fighting habits with willpower, James Clear teaches us how to redesign the habit loop. This is where the 4 laws of behavior change come in. These 4 laws are simple, practical, and incredibly effective. The first law is, make it obvious. If you want to build a habit, the cue needs to be visible. If you want to read more, place a book on your desk. If you want to drink more water, keep a bottle within reach. If you want to exercise, put your workout clothes where you can see them. Out of sight often means out of mind. The second law is, make it attractive. We are more likely to repeat behaviors that feel good. One way to do this is by pairing habits you need to do with habits you enjoy. For example, only listen to your favorite podcast while walking. Only watch your favorite show while exercising. Only drink your favorite coffee while studying. This technique makes habits more enjoyable and easier to repeat. The third law is, make it easy. Most people think success requires effort, but habits stick when they require less effort. Reduce friction. If you want to work out, prepare your clothes the night before. If you want to eat healthy, prep your meals in advance. If you want to write, open your notebook and leave it on your desk. James Clear also introduces the 2-minute rule. Any habit should start with just 2 minutes. Read for 2 minutes. Meditate for 2 minutes. Exercise for 2 minutes. The goal is not to do more. The goal is to show up. Once you start, continuing becomes easier. The fourth law is make it satisfying. We repeat habits that feel rewarding. That's why tracking progress works. That's why checking boxes feels good. That's why small wins matter. Your brain needs immediate feedback. Even if the long-term reward is far away, the short-term reward keeps you going. Now, to break bad habits, James Clear simply reverses the laws. Make the cue invisible. Make the habit unattractive. Make it difficult. Make it unsatisfying. If you want to stop scrolling on your phone, put it in another room. If you want to stop eating junk food, don't keep it at home. If you want to reduce distractions, design your environment to support focus. Your environment shapes your behavior more than your motivation ever will. Another powerful concept in Atomic Habits is habit stacking. This means attaching a new habit to an existing one. For example, after I brush my teeth, I will meditate for 1 minute. After I pour my morning coffee, I will write 1 sentence. After I sit at my desk, I will open my to-do list. Your current habits become triggers for new ones. One of the most important ideas in the book is the plateau of latent potential. Most people quit because they don't see results fast enough. They don't realize that progress is happening beneath the surface. Just like ice doesn't melt gradually, it melts suddenly once it reaches a certain temperature. Habits work the same way. Your effort is never wasted. It's being stored. Breakthroughs come after consistency. Atomic Habits teaches us that success is not about radical change. It's about small improvements repeated daily. You don't need motivation. You need a system. You don't need perfection. You need consistency. And you don't need to change your entire life overnight. You just need to get 1% better today. If you apply even a few ideas from this book, your habits will change, your identity will change, and eventually your life will change. Small habits, big results. That's the power of Atomic Habits by James Clear.